Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Small Talk. I am going to talk about men today. I am not against feminism, but I'm a different kind of feminist. I am not the kind of mera jism meri marzi type of feminist at all. I am all up for female liberation, their decision power, their strength, and I've always believed that men should be very supportive of their women, whether it's a father or a brother or a son or husband. You should always be there to support your daughters, your wives, your sisters, etc. Lekin there's a problem though. Many there has been an era where women were absolutely abused by men. There is no question about it. And I never believed that women were not being oppressed. There was a large majority of women who were being oppressed in Indian subcontinent region particularly. And they had no say in anything in their lives. जब बाप के घर में थी तो it was they had to fulfill his orders. Whatever he decides, that's the decision that has been made. They get married, they go to their husband's house, and it's the husband who makes all the decisions, and wife is just to say yes sir, yes ma'am. Then God forbid something happens to their husband and sons take over, and then moms are sitting on the side as an old symbol, like okay, we just come home and we just go say salam to her, और उसे अपने सर पे हाथ फेर देती हैं, वो हमें दुआ दे देती हैं, and that's it. Otherwise she कोई मुशावरत नहीं होती. She has no say in any decision of the household. So that's a true form of oppression. So I am feminist enough to address those kind of issues that women had to face. But at the same time, today my topic is not about women, but I'm just giving a brief description of what's taking place in the world right now, especially in Pakistan. मैं अभी जब पाकिस्तान गई कुछ अर्सा पहले तो मुझे I realized that in small towns and villages men are still being respected. But in big cities, I have noticed, and even actually in Gaon, I went to my father's village, and the women who I had seen with my own eyes being beaten up by their husbands when it was their time of oppression, which is wrong. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but those women have become so blunt and bold now that their husbands are sitting in one corner on their charpai, and they're not even able to talk back to their wife because their wife has become so strong and she has become so blunt and bold and loud that she was saying things that were so inappropriate that I didn't want to even hear that this woman is talking to her husband in that tone. In big cities, I've seen women being very demanding, very controlling, not compromising at all. They want a man who's good looking, who's super wealthy, who is romantic, who's caring, who's doing everything for them. But because they think it's their right, sure it is. But then when it comes to giving their husbands their rights and standing by his side when he needs them the most, I feel like women turn their faces away and they just become the person like, I don't even know you. And it's really taking place in Pakistan right now. I don't know about India. I've never been to India, but I'm sure over there it's the same situation. So my topic is respect of a man. How should we respect a man? The respect of a man is you have to be strong, independent, but you still have to be dependent on your husband in certain way. Men, the way God has created them, they like to take pride in being the provider of their family. And the only appreciation they want from their wives is when they come home after a tiring day of work and the wife takes care of him, provides him the food, the comfort of the home. She doesn't fight with him unnecessarily. Like this bitching and bickering that takes place sometimes in the household by a woman is despicable, and it's just unbelievable, and it just ruins the man's entire day, his hard work that he's put in all day when he was outside of work. So the way to respect a man is when he comes home, you show appreciation from your acts, that you appreciate the hard work that he puts in to provide for his family, to protect his family. I've also seen women, they claim that they love their husbands and they show love, they show affection, they do take care of them, they're happy with them. But we know we live, this is life. Life happens. There are ups and downs in life. You lose your jobs, you close your business, you take losses in your businesses, and then you you face struggles. Some death takes place in the family, and you're struggling emotionally. You may have other issues, and that it's life. As I said, it's life, and life happens. It's very uncertain. And I've seen those women who have been pampered by their husbands all their lives. They have worked so hard to provide for those women, treated them like queen, and I mean it. The Pakistani women do get treated like a queen. They never leave the house to make the living. I'm making a very general statement. Obviously, there's always exception to the rule. They don't leave the house. They have maids who cook for them. They have maids who clean for them. They have babysitters who watch their babies. They stay up all night, party with their friends. And I'm talking about even like upper middle class in Pakistan, or even middle class. This is their lifestyle now. And then they wake up in the morning, send the kids to school, go back to sleep. They have maid who will come home, clean and cook for them. Then they wake up at lunchtime, uh, take a bath and get ready. अच्छे अच्छे इस्त्री करके कपड़े माई को कह दिया इस्त्री कर दो, and then they go pick up their kids. They come home, the food is ready on the table for them, feed their kids, and then they go partying again. It's like with their kids. Now they have to go out and eat. They are just going for, whatever their activities are. And they're doing all this because there's a man outside who's working really hard from morning until evening, and in some cases until night, to pay for all of this. All of this doesn't come for free. It costs money, and that money comes with lots of hard work. And that hard work is being put by a man who's facing the hardships of the world, of the society outside. We don't know how they're making their living. And then, God forbid, that man leaves his job, or he gets fired from his job, or he loses his business, or something goes wrong financially or emotionally, or God forbid, he gets into an accident and breaks his leg, or he's suffering emotionally. That same wife or that same woman has a hard time accepting him now. They start complaining, they start bickering and bitching about, oh, you can't do anything for me, I can't live this life. I know, I've seen women saying to their husband, जितों भी लिया के दो, मैंने नहीं पता मैंने लिया के दो. If a man has faced a huge loss in his business and he's trying to explain to his wife that you took an oath, a covenant when we got nikah that you'll be standing by my side through thick and thin. This is my thin time, I am struggling financially. I've lost my business, my job, or I have lost my leg in an accident and I need your support. That wife should be there to support her spouse. And I've seen in big cities those um, very wannabes. I'm an independent woman type of women, but I don't want to waste my time on him. He's no good anymore. I can't suffer like this. I only, YOLO, you live only once. It's this new mantra that all these Pakistani so-called wannabes have come up with. And they will say, I don't care. You provide for me no matter where you get it from. I can't live this life. Why not? You didn't marry him just because he had lots of money. If that was the case, that was the very wrong reason for you to marry him. You married him because you were going to build a family with him, the foundation of a family. You were going to show your children what it takes to make a marriage successful. You were there to show your children how the spouses support each other. There's an ayah in the Quran that says that husband and wife are the outfits for each other. Um, they are the libas for each other. That means they should be that close to each other that they should be hiding each other's flaws and accepting them with their flaws and with their qualities. And if your spouse has a problem, it's your job to cover him up and cover her up, That's how close a husband and wife, their bonding should be this close. Men do this. I don't see that many men complaining about their wives in public among their friends or bad mouthing them behind their back, but I have seen women talk bad about their husbands. I just don't understand, how do they do this? You sleep with them, you make babies with them, you have lived so many years of your life with that man in the same house. You have shared so many ups and downs, so many sad moments and happy moments with him, and suddenly that man, something went wrong in his life, and that man has become irrelevant to you, and you don't care about him anymore, about his feelings, about his emotions, about his stress, his anxieties. Nothing matters to you except for your own lifestyle. That's, to me, was just unacceptable. And I just want to say that the men are not being respected as much as they're supposed to be. Half the time, men are not even being heard in the household. Women are making all the decisions. Men are just sitting there, like, okay, in one corner, that he's just a money making machine who's going to go out in the morning, bring me cash. I'm going to put my ATM card in that ATM machine, and it's going to start dispensing cash to me, and that's what he's good for. That's it. The rest, women are doing everything in the house. That shows that they have no respect for their spouses. And if you're raising your children, watching all this and seeing all this, the next generation is going to be the generation which will not have tolerance for anything whatsoever. Forget the marriage. There will be no institution of marriage, because marriage takes lots of compromise. Marriage is hard work. Marriages are not easy. Now, I don't say it's easy. I know it's hard. Everybody has to make compromise. हम जो औरतें होती हैं, हमें अक्सर ये लग रहा होता है कि we are the only one who are making compromises and men are not. The reality is, women complain a lot. They express their frustration, they express their anger, they express their needs. Men, on the other hand, they quietly just keep making sacrifices. And sometimes when I look at women and men and I compare them, I see all made up women with fancy outfits, with the fanciest car, with the best jewelry, the best makeup, youthful looking, Botoxed, everything. And then next to him, you'll see a man standing bald with big fat belly, looking tired and miserable. Even if they have good clothes on, you can barely notice them, because their whole personality has been damaged so much. And why? Because they face the difficulties outside of the house to make that woman look as pretty and attractive as she is looking right now. And if that woman does not have the heart to appreciate that man, I think she's in the wrong business. She should not have gotten married to that man to begin with. I was recently listening to a religious scholar. It was the question about, a woman asked a question about akika. Those of you who don't know what akika is, it's like when the baby is born, within 7 days of the birth of the baby, and there's a sunnah of the Prophet, peace be upon him, that you have to sacrifice an animal to get rid of all the evils from their lives. So for a female baby, for baby girl, it's one goat or lamb that they sacrifice. For baby boy, you have to sacrifice 2 lamb or 2 goats. And the girl asked, why is it that Islam only allows one sacrifice of 1 animal, versus for boys it asks for 2 animals sacrifice? What's the reason behind it? That's not fair to women. And the scholar was a wise man. He answered. He said it's because there's more evil surrounding the men. Therefore, there is 2 lambs or goats required to get rid of that evil from their lives. And there's less evil associated with female. So there's only 1 lamb and goat required for the female baby. And that answer satisfied the audience, and that answer satisfied that woman. But I was not happy with that answer. Why? Not because that question shouldn't have asked, but the fact that once the mufti, the scholar, gave that answer, the men are more evil, so they need to have more animals sacrificed for them, that's good enough reason. That's how it should be, and that satisfied the women, that yes, men are evil. But if the scholar had said the same thing about a woman, there would have been a chaos in the entire auditorium wherever the lecture was being delivered and those questions were being asked. And there would have been a big issue about these feminist women saying, oh my God, this mufti, these mullahs, these maulvis are saying this, the women are more evil. If women are not more evil, men are not more evil either. then why is it okay for you to accept the fact that he said men are more evil, that there's more evil associated with men, therefore they need to sacrifice of two animals, you know? So the problem is women always um, play this bichara role in the society, in Pakistani society. But if a man is bichara, or if man is being told that you're evil, it's okay for women to accept this, and they think it should be okay for men to accept it too. And bichare men accept kar bhi lete hain, they don't say anything about it. All the men sat there, they just laughed about it, and they just moved on with their life. God forbid if he had said the other way around, it would have been a big chaos and drama all over the social media, all over the mainstream media, even memes. They would have made memes out of it, of that mufti and all that nonsense stuff would have taken place. The problem with our society is that everybody knows what their rights are, but nobody ever knows what their duties are as an individual. Wife wants her rights. She talks about her rights. Husband wants his rights. He never talks about his duties. And this tug of war that's going on between a man and woman in the societies has become so unbearable now that it's hard for us to even explain to our kids what's right and what's wrong, and how to work a marriage, and how to make compromises on what things you can make compromises and what things you cannot make compromises, because we're constantly bickering and bitching and fighting about things and petty issues, things that really don't matter. So I wanted to discuss this topic because I felt so sorry for the men, lots of men that I saw in Pakistan recently, and I realized that women has become pretty corrupt uh, with the passage of time. Um, Not so much in this country, I think. The women who live, the Pakistani women who live in the US, I think they have decent amount of respect for their husbands. But the Pakistani women, they think the West does this, so we have to do it. They don't realize and they don't understand how many compromises the Western women are making to stay in marriage with their husbands. What they see in Hollywood and all those soap opera dramas is not what the true representation of this culture. And that's not how this culture works. So all these movements, that those feminist movements, and Mera Jism Meri Marzi movement, and all these things that are taking place in Pakistan, it's actually making those women not strong, not liberated, but corrupt and ill-mannered and disrespectful and bad mothers and bad wives and the bad role model for the next generation. So it's not helping them. Sure, I am all up for feminism. I am all up for empowering other women. I'm all up for giving them the respect. But you want the respect, you have to give respect as well to the men of the society. You have to raise respectable men in the society. What's done is done. We can't undo this. But raise your sons to be respectable men in the society, respectful men in the society who respect other women. Once you start doing this, things don't change overnight. In next generation or two generations, you will raise men who will give women their proper rights, and then women in return will give them the proper respect that they deserve. So that's feminism. That's the feminism I'm up for. I have a daughter and I have a son, mashallah. My daughter is older. I have taught her how to stand up for her rights. If she has done something that she has full faith in and she knows it's not against the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his prophet and maybe his parents, I sometimes even tell her, even your parents' approval is not necessary in certain cases, as long as it's okay in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his prophet, peace be upon him. Go for it. If somebody tries to pull your leg, shake them off and say, don't do this. This is what I believe in. This is what I'm going to do. This is what Allah has allowed me to do, and I'm going to stay within my limitations, and I'm going to accomplish this goal. That's called strengthening a woman. When you find a spouse for her, make sure that she gets a choice of finding her own husband. You set the parameter, like, okay, husband has to be a Muslim, he has to have maybe a good professional degree, he should come from a decent family, you know, whatever whatever the limitation you want to put on it, and then let her choose her own husband. That's empowering woman. My son, he's younger. I am teaching him how to do chores inside the house. For example, he's a boy. He has to unload the dishwasher. He has to put the groceries away in the fridge when I come home. He has to bring the groceries from the garage into the house. He takes out the trash. In my house, women, girls don't take out the trash. We don't touch the trash. No matter how full it is, we leave it there. It has to be either my husband or my son who will take out the trash, because we have told him it's a man's job. It's a shameful that man is sitting inside the house and a mom or a daughter or a sister is grabbing the trash cans and putting them outside for the garbage truck to come and fetch it. That's how you become an empowered woman. He respects me. He understands he has a job to do. He understands this is not the job for my mom to do, or for mom, or for my wife to do, or for my daughter to do. He will be doing those things for his mom, his wife, his daughter, his sister. Also, raise the daughters who are opinionated, in a good sense, not in a bad sense. Like, for example, you can't say you have to do this because I said so. You are going to raise a rebellion rather, contrarian daughter who's going to be a contrarian, rebellion wife, and a controlling mother. Instead, you teach them with logic. I'm telling you, don't do this because of ABC reasons. It could be security, it could be religiously not allowed, it could be this is the harm in it, in that. But she should have an opinion. Discuss it. Talk about things. Don't just impose decisions on your daughter. That's how you become um, the woman who believes in the feminist movement. That's the kind of feminist movement I believe in. So if you're trying to take over a man and become the man, and you can be as strong as man, and you can do everything that a man does, but don't uh, take the role of a man and become that manly woman. You know, you can still be feminine, you can still do all the things, and you can still be a little submissive, because in Quran Allah says the men are the kawam of women. And kawam doesn't mean that he is the owner of women, but the mean that he is the caretaker, he is the head of the household, he is the protector and provider of the family. So he has to be the in charge. You have to have an in charge in every system in the society, in the world, in the universe. We all know that an organization cannot run if there is nobody in charge. A mosque can't run if there is nobody in charge. You know, any businesses cannot run if there is nobody in charge. Similarly, the house is an institution. It's a micro institution. It's a micro economy that's taking place inside the walls of a house. So there has to be somebody who has to be in charge, and that in charge is the husband. And God has given him this charge and the power of decision making and the power of being able, strong enough mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically to take care of the situations, handle the difficult times with with comfort and ease, without showing frustration, and comforting everybody around him. And men actually do a pretty good job doing this, but women have to understand that when they are facing difficulties in their lives, please stand by them and don't say मैनू नहीं पता जिथों भी लिया के दो, मैनू ते लिया के दो, मैं नहीं इस तरह की लाइफ दी आदी नहीं है। तो आदी हो जाओ ना, it's okay, it's temporary, inshallah it will go away. Make yourself comfortable. कहते हैं जितनी चादर है उतने पाँव फैलाओ. My husband, he has worked in corporates. He's with artificial intelligence, and he is, mashallah, at the level where he's in the top, in the ladder at the top. So when you get to the executive levels, whenever there's an economic crisis going on in the country, the people at the executive levels are the first one who lose their jobs, because they're very highly paid employees, and they have to cut their salaries down, their costs down, the big corporations. So they start from the top. They will let go their directors and their senior managers, and people like that. So he has lost his job quite a few times, and alhamdulillah, we always have saving. And then when you lose the job, you get when you get laid off, they do give you 6 weeks or 8 weeks severance packages, like, this is your pay for next 6 to 8 weeks. In the meantime, you can find a new job, hopefully. But that severance pay goes by like this, like that money is spent before it even comes into your account. So whenever that happens, it has happened quite a few times to us in our lifetime. I announced to my kids, guys, we're on a budget. So no unnecessary. I'll give you all the necessities, but no luxury until next announcement. So in the beginning, my kids बड़ी चू चू करते थे बच्चे कि oh my God, we hate being on the budget. We don't like this. You know, I need this, and I need that, and you know, unnecessary stuff that we pamper our children with. They're so used to it. They think that's all necessity, but that's all junk that they buy and they spend money on. So they used to whine about it, and now I make the announcement, and my kids just don't even say a word. They know where to cut their cost. They know what not to ask for and what to ask for. They don't even say anything anymore, like, oh, really? So what do I need to cut my cost? And they just automatically know this is a necessity, this is a luxury. For next 3 months, 4 months, I cannot, this is what I can't buy, this is what I can't ask for. That's called raising a daughter who's going to become a good wife in the future and be a supportive woman to her husband. That's what you need to do as a mother, instead of saying to your husband, मैंने नहीं पता जिथों भी लिया के दो, मैं बच्चे ਨੂੰ किस तरह चुप करावां. It's your job, बच्चों को चुप करा. It's your job to make them understand that your father is going through some tough times right now. He lost his job. It's going to take him some time to find a new job, unless you want to eat dog food for the rest of your life, and for him, you want him to just go get a job that doesn't pay that much. If you want to maintain the same lifestyle, you have to be patient. Those kind of executive level jobs are not that easy to find. He will find it, but it will take him a few months, few weeks, you know, whatever it takes. And those kids, we don't give them enough credit to our children. They're way more resilient than we give them the credit for. Children adapt to everything that you make them understand. But in order for you to do this, to convince them, you have to be able to convincing enough to do that. And for you to become convincing, you have to show it from your attitude that you are okay with your husband losing his job. You are okay because your husband had an accident and he can't go to work for a month or 2 months with his broken leg, and you're going to have no income coming in if he's a business owner. You are okay with your husband being in a hospital for next 6 months, God forbid something like that happens. You are there for him, so you are okay with that. For you to convey that message to your children, first you have to be able to accept that message and live by it. I could go on and on this topic. I look at men sometimes, and I really do feel very sorry for men. I have lots of sympathy for men in the society in general. I often tell my friends and my sisters and my sister-in-law as well, you know, I feel sorry for men sometimes. I think they work so hard, and poor men, we don't even realize what they're dealing with and how many complaints they might have inside of them, but they never say a word to us. They never complain to us, and we're like constantly yapping and complaining, and we're just annoying to the point that they just don't even know how to make us happy anymore. So please be respectful to your men. Please don't abuse them. They're human beings too. They get hurt emotionally, they get hurt physically. Um, they don't like it either when you are being so unreasonable. Just because they're not saying anything to you doesn't mean it's not bothering them. So please read um, read their read their silence, I should say. Read in between the lines and see what they're not saying is actually written all over them. They're feeling it, but they're not speaking it. Whereas you are just non-stop complaining for no reason. I hope this video helps. Please give my video a thumbs up. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Please press the bell icon button so you can be notified of my new upcoming videos. Any feedback would be appreciated. Please give your comments and give me feedback, and please let me know if I can improve my channel. I know I talk, I don't write a script or anything. I just keep talking when something comes to my mind, or if I observe something, I want to talk about it, because my channel is about small talks. And I know sometimes maybe I'm repeating myself too much. If that's the case, please do let me know so I can improve the quality of my communication, and I can make it more effective. I hope this video helps. Until next video, Allah Hafiz.